Thank you. So thank you so much for inviting me, Catherine and Anna. It's great to be here. So my name is Emily and I founded Speaking Voices. So today we're all going to be talking about storytelling and pitching, specifically for business owners, for business founders. And just to tell you a little bit about me as well. So I started off as an actor. I'm still sort of in the acting atmosphere, and to become a really good actor, I thought, oh, okay, how can I train myself to become a good actor? And that was for me to train my voice, because sometimes you can just tell in films, right, that like, oh, that person doesn't sound quite right, doesn't sound like it's not playing the character well enough, and it's all to do with your voice. So I did a master's specifically in voice studies, and I found out so many things about the voice, and I'm just going to unpick some of the modules that I've learnt, and I'm going to give all of that knowledge to you. And for me, my goal is really to empower individuals to speak with confidence. So what you think confidence is, and helping you to be able to express yourself authentically and genuinely, because there's nothing worse than rehearsing a script, memorizing it all, and then standing up there and you're like, oh my gosh, I've forgotten everything. Or you say it and it just doesn't sound like you. Because the most important thing, especially with the storytelling that we'll uncover today, is people resonate with you, right? People resonate with your story, people resonate with your business, and therefore they will then go on to buy your products and services. So what I cover as a voice coach is ginormous. It's loads and loads of different things, mainly to do with speaking. Right, but speaking entails lots of different things. So a lot of breathing, a lot of voice work, TED Talks, accent, talk about pitch, pace, tone, emotions, and we'll cover some of those kinds of things today as well. The other way. So today's agenda, we're going to do a little self-evaluation first, just to know what your voice sounds like and how you communicate first and foremost. We'll dive deep into the storytelling, because storytelling is the most important thing. And then we'll have a bit of a break, and then we'll go into pitching. And then at the end, we'll have all of the FAQs for you to ask me any more questions if I haven't answered them already. Hello, hello, come on in, come on, join us. Great. So this is how I normally work. This is my framework. I know a lot of public speakers, they talk about body language, they talk about hands, where to put your hands, they talk about how to stand, right? But for me, the voice part, what you say, how you say it, is kind of the last thing. How you articulate yourself, we look at the last thing. Before that, we have to look at the mind, how to structure what it is you want to say, whether you're clear with what it is that you want to say. But before that, and before having all of the, removing all of the doubts, the hesitation, the overthinking, we have to think about the body. Why do we have to think about the body first? It's because when you think about speaking to your friends and family, we are very relaxed, people you trust, right? We're relaxed, we feel safe, we are just able to say whatever it is we want to say, right? So because we're relaxed, we're calming ourselves down, we are comfortable in our environment, right? So therefore, our nervous system is calm. There's nothing to worry about. However, there's a switch somewhere when we go into work, we go and stand up on stage. This environment changes. We feel different. Before we step into and say the words, we already feel something physiologically in our body. And that's because your nervous system is on a fight or flight moment. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. And then when you don't know what to do, your body doesn't know how to react. You don't know how to think. So you're telling your brain, I must go into survival mode now. And if you're not breathing, then that's the whole fundamental basics of a human, right? It's to be able to breathe. Your brain will go, oh, I've got enough air. I'm not dying. Oh my gosh, right? And now I can think about what it is I want to say. So body, mind, voice, just like that. So when we're thinking about our storytelling, our communication, the way we want to speak, we want to be able to think about introducing ourselves. So this is something that we want to put into our kind of words we want to put into our bodies. So this is the first activity for you guys. This is going to be a very practical session because you can't be doing the speaking just sitting. You need to be able to feel how it feels to you, right? That's why we start with body first. Then we think about what we want to say and then we say it. So if you're at home, guys, everybody online, you can do this by standing up and just walking around your room. And everybody in the room, we're going to be standing up and we're just going to be introducing ourselves to everybody that we come across, right? So I'll give you 5 minutes. I know there's not much space in here, but luckily it's cool with the aircon, right? So we're not going to be too hot today. So just have a stand up. Someone you see, just say your introduction, introduce yourself. How are you going to do that, right? Off we go.
Hello, introduce yourself.
Yeah, introduce yourself.
Introduce yourself.
So just, if you've got no one to talk to, just talk to yourself out loud.
Yeah.
In the room, have a walk around, and just feel what it's like to say your sentences.
Go ahead, Donna. Say again. Your name.
Emily. Emily is my name.
Sorry, we can't really hear. It's really loud in the room. Do you want to just go ahead and introduce yourself? Maybe a bit more about yourself. She wants you to talk first and then she's gonna
Right, okay, yeah, we were talking. Okay, 1 more minute. 1 more minute.
Well, I'm Anna, as you might know. I'm a venture marketing associate here at 𝘼𝙗. And I so far do really like the cohort that we have right now. I do really enjoy all the people who are here today in the room and here just online. I'm not enjoying the weather. It's really hot, and I would have preferred it to be slightly cooler. What else can I say? I can say something about my hobbies. I love to read in my spare time, and I love baking, and I love to learn something else.
Well, I've been in this.
Say again?
Yeah, my mentor was quite
Yeah,
exactly. That's good. Great.
Okay,
Yeah. Well, I've been on almost all of the sessions except
and
the
1.
last
Feel
one
free
that
to
was
take
away.
a seat, guys,
Nice to meet you
and we'll
too.
carry on.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
It's just,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah, we're gonna
carry on now. Now that you've done this activity, I want you to take a piece of paper in the middle of the room. I want you to rate your speaking skills out of 10. How confident were you? And I want you to also write a word with regards to how you felt. How did you feel, and rating your speaking skills out of 10. So just writing a 10 being like really great, 1 being not so good.
Do you mean in this particular
In
situation?
this incident, yes, what you've just done just now.
It's going to be 1 word.
1 word, yeah.
And
Or a
only
few
one
words.
word.
A few words is fine.
Number
Yeah.
or word?
Both.
Both.
Yeah, 1 number and
One number.
1 word or a phrase, if you like. And then once you've done that, just turn the piece of paper and forget about it. But keep it close to you because we're going to do another evaluation at the end of this as well. Okay. So with this, now that you have this in your mind, how you felt, what you thought about when you were speaking, a lot of people, they gradually get more confident the more they practice, right? Speaking is a skill. You just got to do it a lot of the times. And I guess you can just say, oh yeah, just practice loads and you'll be more confident. But I've seen a lot of people where they practice loads, but actually they don't know how to get better. So this is the part where I teach you the techniques to be able to do that. So in terms of a story, the components of a story, there's lots of different things. And I was speaking to this lady over here, and she's a film editor. Forgotten your name, sorry. Jana, and she's been a film editor, so you'll know a lot about storytelling. And this is mainly just a quick snapshot of what you would see in any story, in any film, anything that has a beginning, middle, and end. I'll send you out the slides as well, so you don't have to write everything down now. But ultimately, with a story, you've got a hook, who, where, what is happening, you know, the main character. You've got the picture of what is the normal life? You know, how do you envision that? So everything that we're doing today is all about imagery. It's about the vision. Because if you see something in your mind, then you're able to convey it better to your audience. And the audience will then be able to go, oh yeah, I see that. I understand what you're talking about. So that's the picture. We need to have some sort of element of imagery there. The challenges, and sometimes with a self-introduction, you can talk about your struggles as a business owner, as a founder, so people can relate to you as well as a human. Impact, how did it affect you? So this is when we're tapping into the emotions a little bit more. The struggles, so did you attempt to solve the problem? How did you try to solve it? Did you do it by yourself? Did you ask people for help? And then there might be a light bulb moment. Some business founders may not have the light bulb moment yet. Some people are on that journey, right? But there might be snippets of like, oh yeah, I think this is going well, right? So snippets of light bulb moments in there that can really change the trajectory of where you're taking your business. The actions of what you did specifically, how you did it, the result of what happened afterwards because of that. Did you get more work because you did X, Y, and Z? And then the lessons, this is where we want to always continue to evaluate ourselves. So it's not like we go on stage, we talk, and then that's it. We want to be able to always think about how can we make this a little bit better? What did you realize? And it might not just be doing something, right? It might be that you felt something. It might be that you talked to someone and you go, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. And then the audience, how do you then relate it back to your people? So not just thinking, oh, you guys are there as the audience, I'm here, and there's just a glass wall between us. We want to be able to always think about how we can, the interaction between ourselves, our body, our mind, our voice, and then think about the relationship between the people in the room, and then also think about the wider purpose, right? So if you're in the health industry, and you're talking about, okay, I've just created this new medicine that's going to cure, you know, this disease, right? You don't want to just think about the people who are in the audience with you. You want to create a bigger purpose of why you want to help all these people around the world. So always relating back to the audience or to as many people as possible. But today we're going to have a look specifically at our self-introduction. So we started off by doing a little activity, but this is essentially, if I was to condense everything down into a 1-minute self-introduction, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to have a look at our NTC, which is our name, job title, and company. We're going to have a look at our purpose, the action, the verb of what it is that we are doing. Who are you helping? So your exact target audience. What does your company do? And how do you do that? So the specific methods that you use that are unique to your competitors, right? Because you can have 2 people in the room, same industry, same product, same service, but what makes you stand out? And I think combining all of that, this makes a really good introduction. So we'll have a look at the structure today, and then we'll get you to also be able to speak this out loud. And when we think about emotion, I'll zoom this in a little bit more. This is an emotion wheel, right? Ultimately, it comprises of positive emotions and negative emotions. So you've got fear, anger, sadness, which is your negative emotions there. And then you've got love, happy, surprise, which is your positive emotions. Now, when we're storytelling, or when we're talking about our self-introduction, or when we're pitching, we need to be able to guide the audience around this circle as many times as possible. So this is why when you visualize something, you feel something. And then when you say it, your audience can go around this emotional wheel. So when we think about speaking, we need to add in emotions in there, add in your personality so people understand who you are. And I think a lot of the time when people say statistics, like, oh, 50% of so-and-so and so-and-so, the statistics just go over the top of a person's head because there's nothing for them to latch onto. There's nothing for them to go, oh, okay, is that good or is that bad? Like 50%. Everybody has like a subjective view on that. So I guess it's the tone of voice and also the emotions, how you portray that, that the people go, oh yeah, okay, interesting, very nice. So once we think about the simplicity of all of these emotions, the positive, the negative ones, then we can dive deeper into the outer circles. So fear, you've got like scared, anxious, insecure, threatened. You've got happy, which is elated, peaceful, enthusiastic, optimistic, right? And then when you get really good is to be able to think about all the nuances in between on the outside of the circle. But we'll start in the middle today, just something very simple and easy for you guys to relate to. But you can always go back into this emotion wheel at any time. And every sentence doesn't technically need to have, you know, a different emotion, but the topic needs to have a different switch of emotion. So if you're talking about, I don't know, building your product, is going to be different to distributing your product, right? So because they're two separate things, you need to have two different emotions. And within that, you can have different emotions as well. So everything that we are talking about today, even though it's surface level, it can be broken down even more into more depth. So this is the first section of the NTC, the name, the job title, the company. So this bit, I would say, is important. Well, everything is important, but I think some people, they just say, I am a founder. Right, okay, so what does that tell me? Yeah. Nothing. Right, I don't know what industry you're in, I don't know what you do, right? So then by the time, if you don't explain that later down the line, it's like, can't remember. And your job as a speaker is for you to stand out, is for you to be in control of what you're saying and how you want the audience to feel. So not only are the words, adapting the words are important, I never say I'm a founder of Speaking Voices. I mean, sometimes I say it just depends how I feel, but normally I say I'm a voice and communications coach. And they go, oh, what's a voice and communications coach? Because what you want to do is to plant seeds in a person's head of what it is that you do, and then for them to ask you questions afterwards, right? So if I know that you are a film editor, I will ask you questions about, okay, what film is it? You know, is it commercials, is it trailers? And then we worked out that it was long feature films, right? So that's how we get to that conclusion where both audience and speaker are on the same page. So this is your next activity, right? I want you to walk around the room and introduce your NCT. And I want you to think about how you're going to say it with emotion, your personality in there as well. And think about when you see a new person, say it in a different way. Because we sometimes get bored of our own voices. Hi, my name is Emily. I am a voice communication coach and I happen to be a founder of Speaking Voices, right? But if you introduce yourself in a new way by using this emotion wheel, okay, one time you speak to a person, sound happy, right? How happy are you from the scale of 0 to 100%? Because you can be happy that you found something that you lost. Oh my gosh, I found that pen that I lost ages ago. Oh my gosh, I'm happy, right? You could be happy that you won the lottery, happy. So there are different nuances and different variations. So pick an emotion, happy, love. You can pick, I don't know, optimistic, enthusiastic. You can pick caring. You can be surprised, okay? And think about how you're going to say your name. My name is, and this is just an example, by the way. You don't have to say my name is. If you never say my name, don't say my name. Just say I'm, right? Or however you say it. So this is a practical skill for you not to overthink, just to speak. And when you speak it, you'll get to go, oh, I never say my name. Do I like it? Do I not like it? I say hello. Do I like that? Or do I say hi? Do I say hiya? How do you say what you say with your own words? Because everybody is different in this room, right? Everybody is unique. So I sometimes say my name is. Sometimes I say hi, I'm, right? But what is it that you say? So I'll leave this up on the board. 3 sentences. Name. What is it that you do, your job title? So mine is the voice and communications coach. Yours could be a personal trainer, whatever it is, nutritionist. And then I run a company, or a CIC. CIC is the Community Interest Charities. And then it's called, and then do that, right? So we're going to do exactly the same, standing up, find a person, think about an emotion, and then go for those 3 sentences.
Sure, but we're picking the positive emotions. We're not coming to someone and being angry about
Yes,
it.
yeah, just the positive emotions. Yes, yeah. And just dive deep into that and see how that feels in your body as well. I mean, you can be angry. Hi. I mean, try it, see how that feels, right? Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes. Off you go, guys. I heard a lot of good conversations, which is lovely. And this is a really interesting one because for me, I was like, oh yeah, just say name, job title, company. And then when I heard everybody's conversations, they were raveling so much more information. And I was like, oh, interesting. So it's almost a fine line between saying too much and revealing everything, because you've only got 1 minute, right? Sometimes 60 seconds can fly by so quick. And for me, I was like, okay, this is too much information for that person to consume. Sometimes when we think about the audience, we need to think about how they process this information, right? So sometimes 1 minute is too long for somebody to go, oh my gosh, all this information, and now we need to remember, and now we need to go to the next person and remember more information, especially in a networking event when everybody's strangers and we don't know what each other is doing, we don't know their names. And at the end of the day, who do I remember, right? The person who actually gives me snippets of information. So that's the thing. You want to be able to go to allow the audience, because we have to remember that the people that we're speaking to, everybody learns very differently. Everybody processes things differently. So to be able to make it as simple as possible, and this is why the speaking exercise is good, because sometimes we speak, we've lost our trail of thought. And then all of a sudden, oh, I've got it now. And then we speak some more. But then we don't allow the audience to take in that information. So for this exercise, 1 sentence per box is more than enough, because then we're going to add to that later on. So what I want you to do now is to think about your purpose and your who. This is the next section of the 5 boxes. So your next sentence that you're going to be saying is, I help, I inform, I educate, I motivate, I encourage, I coach. You need to pick a verb that you think is going to help your specific target audience. And then you say who that target audience is. Corporate professionals, care homes, communities, children, couples, footballers, etc., etc. Right, just make it very simple. It doesn't have to be long-winded, right? And you can always refine the wording if you don't like it. So if you think about the wording, you don't have to be, okay, I'm saying this sentence after I've written it down. No, you can always change it according to the environment. So if you're going to a networking event, you might say, I help corporate professionals, if there are corporate professionals in that networking event. If there isn't, then you can say, I help people, right? More generic, more vague, or I help senior employees or something like that. You know, there would be lots of different various ways that you can think about who your target audience is, but saying it different ways so that people can understand what it is that you are doing. So again, this exercise, I know people are starting to write it down. When you're writing things down from your head, you create a different tone, right? When you think about what it is that you're going to say in your mind and you're writing it down, you think, okay, I help. I think I help is the most, I think that one fits actually. Yeah, I help is the one that fits. I think that. When you speak it, it might be I help is not the right word. So this is the exercise that we're going to do. We're going to move around the room again, and we're just going to say that one sentence. New person, new way to say it, different emotions. So if you chose happy last time, think about love. If you thought about love last time, think about excitement or optimism or enthusiastic, because we want to be able to try and hook the audience as many times as possible, right? So I'll put it back into this sentence. Just say this sentence to as many people as possible. So have an idea of what you think you might say. I help corporate professionals, I inform care homes, etc. I educate, and think about the verb and see whether you can change the wording. See what wording fits and suits you. Okay, so everybody stand up. The next activity, because I don't want you guys to talk too much and then forget what it is that you wanted to say. So the next part of this, before we move on to the other three, is to write down what your sentences were that you did like saying, right? So from the beginning, it was my name, or I'm blah, 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 I am a, and then I run a company called, and then the next sentence is I help. So have a bit of time now to think about your 4 sentences to build up your self-introduction. So by speaking, your brain would have filtered out some information of, oh yeah, I like saying that sentence, or oh, that sentence suits me. I don't like the way I said that before, so I'm not going to write that down, right? When we think of something and then write it, we always think we're right. We're like, oh yeah, I'm going to say that. And then when we actually say it, it doesn't actually sound as good as it seems. So by doing the activity, by speaking out loud, now you've had the chance to speak the words, you then get to go, oh yeah, that's quite good actually, that sentence. Oh, I like that word that I used. So have a bit of time now just to write down those 4 sentences, the start of your self-introduction.
I have a question.
Yes.
You know the second part, my name is, and then I am
Yes.
A. Like, I don't have a company open yet.
Oh, you don't have a company? Okay.
Who am I?
Who am I, right? So yes, you can say your name, I am a, and then for the company bit, if you don't have a company, or if you haven't set one up yet, you don't need to have that sentence, right?
And so and the middle part is I am a, who am I?
Yes, so who are you? What is it that you do?
But I have so many qualifications and things I've done in my life. It's like if I start listing that.
So obviously you can have like multiple self-introductions, right? So you can just pick one of your many hats and be like, oh, okay, when I go into this room, I'm going to introduce myself as this. And then when you go into a different room, you can change the wording and you can wear a different hat and you can say you're something else.
So I suppose it's a founder, the word we're looking for, isn't it?
A bit more specialized than founder. What are you founding in? What's your
independent film platform?
Oh, independent film. Oh, okay. Oh, very nice. So what would your, I guess, title be then?
Well, I have
Film.
a frame for now, but that might change. But I'm just, I guess my question is, I can think about what I'm going to say, but I'm like, what would you put in IMA? So
it would be something related to that film industry.
Yeah.
So people go, oh, film. Okay, and then I can ask you more questions.
Like I'm a producer, I'm a director, I'm a trained actor, I write songs, and
actors have lots of multiple hats, right? So you can just choose one for now. I'm a producer, film producer.
Okay.
Right? I'm a director for films. And you can always change that sentence depending on who you're speaking to. So even though we're writing it down, it's not set in stone. Depending on who you're speaking to and what you feel on the day, you can change that title. But as long as people know, oh, you're in the film industry. Ah, okay, I get it. I know who you are. I can come back to you at any time if I need to ask you questions. about that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's always interchangeable. You can always, it doesn't have to be like one specific thing. Because like for me, if I go to an acting event, a networking event that's with actors, I say I'm an actor. I don't say I'm a voice and communications coach.
Yeah.
When I come to a group, you know, workshop like this, I say I'm a voice and communications coach. If I'm going to corporates, I say I'm a public speaker. So you see how it differs everywhere that I go. So there's not like one set thing that you need to introduce yourself as, because I know loads of people, they wear multiple hats. So it can change all the time.
Very good, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, with the I run a company, if you don't have a company, don't need to say anything. Yeah, keep it simple. And then the next bit is I inform, I educate, I motivate. So I'd love to hear if people have written those sentences down, what they've written so far. Anyone would like to share? Yes, go for
I
it.
said I help youths to learn to cook confidently.
Oh, help you to cook confidently.
Yeah.
Mm.
Youths.
Use. Ah, use. Yeah.
Your people.
Ah,
Your people.
yeah. I don't. Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I don't like to speak, because I might pronounce it the wrong way, and it's in my mind. You know, like it's in my mind, like, and then I think, oh, let me not even say it. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to overcome that, then, is for you to be able to say words that you can say.
Yes, the young people.
Yeah. There you go. We've solved that problem. Young people. Yeah, that's it. Great. So now we're going to add on to this sentence. So you've got your purpose, you've got your who, right? The next bit is to be able to add on what it is that you do. So I help corporate professionals to speak with confidence. I inform care homes about the need to improve their technology and develop their services. So you want to make it very specific now in order for them to go, what systems is it? What technology do you use? Remember, we're planting the seeds for people to ask questions. I educate families to grow their own vegetables. Oh, how do you do that? What vegetables? Where do you do this? Right? I motivate couples to stay in love. Oh, how do you do that? Like, are there special techniques? I didn't know that there were special techniques to do this. I coach footballers to perform their best. Okay, so is it their technique? Is it their mindset? Like, what is it? So you need to think of something that is going to be a little bit more specific in this. Now that you said your help sentence, your inform, educate, motivate, coach, to do what? What is it that you want to do? Instead of writing, we're going to stand up again and try and speak that sentence out loud, right? To do something. I help corporate professionals to do something, 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 something. Just keep it simple, one sentence, and try and go around the room as many times as possible, because I want you to speak it in lots and lots of different ways. When you speak in lots of different ways, then you have lots of different possibilities to choose from. So we don't want to keep saying one sentence again and again. We want to vary it so that we can understand and we go, oh yeah, I like the way I said that, I'm going to pick that one. It's like having a pack of cards, right? If I just give you one card, you've got nothing to choose from. If you're saying it multiple times in lots and lots of different ways, you're giving yourself all of these options, and your brain can then choose, oh yeah, I like that version. So that's the method to the madness. So up you go and talk to as many people as you can. Right, let's come back together, and you can now start writing the extra part to that sentence. So you started writing, I help, or I had some really nice words, collaborate, I connect, I empower, right? So the next part of that sentence is to do something. What do you want them to do? So you can write that second part of that sentence down. And then if you don't like it, if you don't like what you've written, that's okay. You know, every time you speak it in a different way, you get to refine it as you go along, because you'll have ideas last week that you didn't have ideas today. And then you might go away after today's session. You might think about it at home and you go, oh, I could have said that. Oh, ideas popped into my mind now. So therefore, it's always ongoing, all the time, all the time. But you'll find a place within yourself where you go, oh yeah, this self-introduction is good, actually. I do like what it is that I've said. So I'm now going to use it again and again, multiple times, to different various people that I come across. So then the last, are we on the third or the fourth one? Oh yes, okay, this is the last part. How, right? 5 out of 5. So you've done the NTC, You've then done the purpose and the who. You've then done the what. Yes, and then it's the how. So the how is your special method, how you are different, what makes you stand out. So I offer one-to-one coaching programs and group workshops by using the speak method. People are going to go, oh, what's the speak method? Okay, that's when they're going to ask you questions. So the more seeds you plant, the more questions the audience are going to have to ask you later on. And then that's how you build that trust, that relationship with a person. And you get them, instead of just going, oh, here's my business card, here's my LinkedIn. Right, you guys have got something to talk about later down the line as a conversation. Not just, oh, it was great to meet you the other day. That's it. Like nothing else to connect with that person. So you want to make sure that when you are speaking, you resonate with people, and to do that is to be able to plant these little seeds. So the next example is I bring in traditional techniques like the Chinese compass and Chinese astrology in my work. People are going to be like, what is that Chinese thing that person was talking about? But this is where people get to sort of remember. Not everyone's going to remember everything you say, but they need to remember something to come back to you as a person if they ever needed you, your services, or to be able to connect you with somebody else. And this is how the power of networking works, is to be able to go, oh yeah, I know that person. I know a film editor. Oh, okay, let me connect that person with that person. Oh, I know a person who does graphic design, websites, whatever it is. Okay, let's connect that person. So the more things you think about and the more specific you can be, but also there's like kind of a vague specificity as well. You know, you want to talk too much because it's only 1 minute self-introduction. So the other one is I host fun chocolate experiences where I get to sell my handcrafted chocolate. And then the person will go, okay, how do you do that? What's the process behind that? What makes your chocolate different to other people's chocolate? Does it have warm cocoa in it? Where do you go and farm and source the cocoa, etc.? And then you can see how that conversation unravels itself. So the last speaking activity today, before you have your break, is to go and talk to as many people as possible and tell them how you do what it is that you do. What makes you special? What makes you stand out compared to all the other people or all your competitors who are doing something similar, right?
And if you haven't started doing it yet,
then
you will do it.
Yeah, you will do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah, exactly. So you can make a sentence up that is going to be speaking it into existence, right? You can say I will be doing, but if you want to bring that future into the present, you can say I am. And then, because sometimes we don't want to play too small when we go to different places, right? Oh, I haven't started it yet. Oh, I'm just self-employed. You know, we want to make sure that we are the experts when we go into that room. We have that confidence, right? So by saying, oh yeah, I'm not sure if I you know, it just doesn't give off the right atmospheres, the tones for people to remember you in a correct light, if we say. So yes, if you haven't started, you can use the future tense, but you can also bring it into the present tense as well. I'm going to be, you know, I am thinking about blah blah blah. So yes, okay, one more last exercise, and then the rest of the second half won't be as active, okay, I promise you. So lovely. One more time, stand up and then go and talk to people. How do you do this? How? It's so great just to see everybody just talking. Like the energy in this room is so great. That's what you need to bring to conversations, right? This energy that you've got when you're talking to people, this vibe, this atmosphere, because you could be that person who lights up the room. You can change the atmosphere completely. So when you're talking to people now, and you've done it like, what, 5 times now, 6 times? You need to go in that room like you've done it multiple times, right? You need to be able to be that person who shines that light when the atmosphere is so dull and you go, oh my gosh, why am I here? No, I am here because I'm here to tell you a story about me and like learn about everybody else as well. So that's the most important thing, is for you to showcase yourself. Whenever you step into a room, you can change the atmosphere if the atmosphere doesn't suit you. So that is pretty much everything that we've covered in terms of a 1 minute self-introduction. We've done the NTC, we've done the purpose and the who, the what and the how. So if you haven't written those sentences down, now is a really good time to do that. And remember, you can always, when you're writing it down, if you don't like the word, you cross it out, you know, and write something else. But this is ultimately a 1 minute introduction. So you say one sentence, and it's each section, if you like, is less than 20 seconds or around 20 seconds. You don't want to go over that, but obviously your name, your job title and company, you can probably say that in 10 seconds. So then you can add an extra 10 seconds to your what and your how, right? And you can play around with the time. So the extra homework for you guys to do is to think about timing yourself. You know, speak it out loud. Does it fall into that 1 minute category? If you are speaking it and it runs over and you're 1 minute 30, you know that there are some words that you may need to cut out that are not relevant. And it's just thinking about what words you can remove, and you can add in one word. So instead of saying 5 words, change those 5 words into 1 word. Sometimes, especially when we go into pitching as well, when we think about timing, it's very unnatural to be like, okay, let's just talk for 10 minutes, because you don't ever have a coffee with a friend and be like, oh yeah, I've got 10 minutes to speak to you, let's go, right? But in a pitching scenario, which we'll cover later on, you need to be able to be underneath that time. Otherwise, some places I've seen, they'll just cut you at 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 3 minutes, and you just have to stop talking. They'll move on to somebody else. So this is why timing is critical, and this is why we start at 1 minute. So if you know you're going over at 1.5, when you are doing a 3 minute pitch, you are in 5 minute territory. So you can see how it builds up and up. But this is something just to consider when we think about the second half when we come into pitching. But now is pretty much the evaluation of where you were before. So that piece of paper that you wrote down, the number and the emotion. So go and turn the piece of paper, right on the piece of paper on the other side. So what you have before and you have after, and see how you feel and how confident you are feeling now, the number. On the next part of our session, which is all around pitching. So we looked at storytelling, we looked at our self-introduction. Pitching is slightly different. We've still got similar structures to how we think about storytelling, hello, and then how we think about our self-introduction. So I'm going to give you the structure, and then what's going to happen is we're going to be able to think about our sentences, what we're going to write. So now that you've got a feel for standing up and speaking to people, we're going to do that exercise but sitting down. So we're not going to stand up as much now, but you'll have a sense of speaking it to yourself, like whispering it to yourself or having an idea of a different tone of voice. And then we'll have a look into your actual pitch. So the components of a pitch, some of you might know this, some of you might not. So for me, there are 10 core components of a pitch. The introduction, which is pretty much what you've looked at so far in terms of your self-introduction, the who, why you are here. The problem, that is, state the past and current issues. What are you facing currently at the moment in the industry? What do you notice about it? Or what have you experienced that has caused you a problem? So that's the second part. The next part is the solution, your unique answer and how. We've covered this a little bit earlier on in the storytelling. The market, we want to be able to put you as the expert, that you know what you're talking about. So we need to relate your business to the market, your industry, what the current size is and where you fit in there. So if you're doing cooking classes, right, okay, cooking classes is very broad, right? We need to think about the cooking industry in itself and where you fit into that specifically. The business, how much money you make. So if you're not running a business at the moment, you can just say you aim to generate X amount of profits, right? And then the traction, this is where a lot of the time we need the data, because you can't just say I run a business and I help people to do X, Y, and Z. We need to make sure, especially if you're getting money from investors, right? They need to see that there is a good ROI, return of investment, to then go, oh yeah, let me give you £10,000 for your business to invest in you. But to be able for them to invest in you, you need to give them some proof that it's going to work. So you need some sort of percentages, some statistics, the evidence and future growth plans of where you think your business is heading. And then the future, talk about your projections, your visions. So, okay, not just where you are currently now, but in 3 years' time, in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time. And then why you, so the competitors versus you specifically, and how you stand out. Your ask, so your investment, how much you want. And sometimes if you're not pitching to invest, it might be to be able to tell people what you need from them. So you're asking your next steps. So the call to action from others is what makes you stand out at the end when you don't ask for money. So a lot of the time your ask could be, I would like to connect with these types of people in this industry. It would be great if you know X, Y, and Z who I could collaborate with, right? It doesn't always have to be, I want this amount of money, because you're not always going to be pitching for investment. So I know some of you have done pitching before, but this is a 1 minute pitch, and this pretty much is the foundations of applying a pitch that is 3 minutes and 5 minutes and 10 minutes. So when we go back to where we were before, this would be a full 10-minute pitch, 1 minute for each section, right? And then for this one that we're going to have a look at today, the 1 minute pitch, this is something that you can start off as a foundation and then we can build from. So when we think about the 1 minute pitch, we've got problem, intro, solution, your ask, and the next step. Now with the problem, we want to think about the past, the current issues, something that you're facing now that you want to address, right? In your industry, what is the biggest problem? Or thinking about, okay, what is currently happening in the world that I can change? And this is where you want to find a statistic that shocks people. You know, when we think about emotions, we want to think about surprise, right? Oh my gosh, this is happening. I didn't know that. Okay, now they're hooked. Now they're going, oh yeah, okay, let me think about this in more depth. A lot of people, they might have a business talking about environments and sustainability, right? You want to have a fact that says, okay, this is what's happening with global warming right now. So for me, my problem is 1 in 2 people in the UK have a fear of speaking. That's 34 million people. Now people can relate to, this is how big this issue is. This is the person who can solve this problem. It's me, right? You need me to talk to you and to be able to work with you to solve this problem. So this is where I got this statistic from. ONS statistics, YouGov and UK Data Services are all platforms, websites where you can go to find data, right? To find these statistics. Or you can conduct the research yourself if you wanted to. So for me, I found this specifically on YouGov. This is from 2023, a survey that was conducted in and around the UK. And the more relevant time-wise the statistic, the better. So for me, 2023, that's what, 3 years ago, nearly going on 4 years. For some investors, they're like, nah, that's too old. We need data this year, right? So for you to be able to think about this, the problem, make it as recent as possible. Try and find data as recent as possible. And if you can't find that data, if there is not enough around where people have done the research, this is where you can try and do the research as well. You can go onto YouGov and you can set up a survey and you get to do like 5 different questions and it will give, I think it's like 20p per response or something like that. And you know, the more responses you have, then the more it's going to cost, etc. But it's a good starting platform. You know, when you see all of these cosmetics, right, these ads, L'Oreal, Boots, I'm just naming loads of names, not to, you know, disclaimer up there, this is not sponsored or anything like that, but in the actual like TV ad at the bottom, right, they say this is the best face cream. At the bottom it says, okay, 68% out of 100 people have tested this product and it works. Right, 60. They need that fact. They need that evidence, and this is what this is going to be: is that traction to go. Oh yeah, okay, it's great, right? But only 68% is great. But who reads the bottom of that? You know, that little sentence down there. Nobody, because the ad itself is amazing, right? So that's why people go and buy all these face creams, hoping that it works. So yes, that's the thing. We want to be able to address the past and the current issues by finding some statistic that is relevant to the industry, to your business. Okay, so this is where you go and find that statistic, or you make one up. Think about what you want to address. Is it mental health? Is it well-being? Is it global warming? Is it nutrition, diet? What is the thing that you want people to be going, oh my gosh, wow, I didn't know this was such a huge issue. So you can have a look at the ONS website, ONS statistics, just type it in on Google if you've got a phone, YouGov, UK Data Service, and then try and find a fact that might be relevant to you at the moment, to your business. So this is a pretty much independent activity that you can have a look at. And if you can't find one, maybe this is something that you can think about in the future. For me, I know that this is a project that I want to do later down the line at the end of 2026 or the start of 2027, preferably 2027 because it's the start of the new year. And then I would collect all this data. I would ask people how confident they are with speaking. I would ask them, how much they talk at work and what their job is, their age, etc., to get a feel for all of these people who have a fear around speaking. And I know from this statistic as well that 63% of Gen Z would avoid public speaking altogether. So you can collate almost like a little bank of facts that you can just churn out every now and again for people to be able to go, oh my gosh, wow, okay, I didn't know that this was a huge problem. And this is where your business comes in. This is who people go to you to solve that problem, because they go, oh my gosh, okay, yes, I understand that is a big problem. Wow, okay, so you do this and you do this and that solves the problem. That's great. Let me work with you. And if anybody has a fact and statistic, feel free to share that with me. Yes, what did you find?
So around half of young people, 13 to 18, is lacking confidence cooking skill.
Oh,
And
really?
that's 4.7 million people.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot, when you think about all that young people that you can help. See, that really helps your case when you are pitching, right? People get to see, oh my gosh, all these young people, if we can help them with cooking skills, they can develop so much better in their life, in their career, etc.
I'm living in Lewisham and running a food business. I know that they actually love, whatever their background, Jamaican food.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm bringing.
Oh, that's nice. Yes. So also this statistic, it doesn't have to be shocking. It can be positive as well. So you can talk about your local community and how it impacts people. I've seen, when young people do cooking classes, more than half of them go away and they tell their friends and family about this cooking club that you offer, etc. So it can be a shocking fact, but also remember the negative and the positive, how you want to influence the audience. That is very important. Good. So I won't trail on too long for this fact, but this is something that you can go away and do more research in. So the next bit is that introduction. So similar to what you did before, this is why. So who are you and why you are here? So I'm Emily, I'm a voice communications coach, and I'm the founder of Speaking Voices. I want to raise an awareness that the value of communication is the key to a person's success, right? So that sentence, the second part of that is the why. That top bit is the who, right? And the why is very key, because why are you there? Why are you speaking to all of these people in the room? Right, what is your purpose? So when we talk about before the purpose, we talk about who, is almost thinking about, okay, right, this part, I'm here because I want to address that problem. I want to raise an awareness. And this is where that verb comes in that you've talked about. I help, I motivate, I educate, I empower. All of those words from that storytelling section, the self-introduction, is coming back to be able to feed in a different way to all of these people. Because bearing in mind, with a pitching session, there might just be 3 people on the panel, right? There might be 3 people and 100 people in the audience. And you've got to think about how it connects everybody. So the way it connects everybody is your why. Why are you so passionate about this? Yes, there's a problem to address, but how does that affect you personally? So what's the why? The biggest is start with why. Yes, that's the Simon Sinek book, right? Have you read that? Start with why. good business book. That's the first business book I read. So go and read it. Yes. So the purpose and the why is the most important thing. So have a think about what your why is and write that down. What do you want to do? I want to raise an awareness, but why? Why is that important? It's because the value of the communication is the key to a person's success. Because I truly believe that if you can succinctly articulate yourself, then you are able to become a better version of yourself. You can be the best version of yourself. You can do better things, right? So for me, there's always like a trail of when you go why, and have that in depth, you can then get the other person to go, oh my gosh, oh yeah, okay. I can see from your point of view how much that means to you. And if a person can, it's all about that energy again. If you are conveying all of this passion, this energy with your why, then people are going to be more attracted to you energetically, and they're going to go, oh, okay, that's really interesting. Didn't know about that. Tell me more. Tell me more. And that's how you get people to resonate. The next part is your solution. So your unique answer and how. So this is something that we've taken from that self-introduction and we've put it into now your pitch. And this is the third part of that. So I provide one-to-one coaching and workshops to corporate professionals and business owners to help them speak authentically. So this is something that it can be changed again, depending on who you're speaking to, but the people that you're pitching to, they need to know exactly your unique answer and how you do it. So for me, it's the corporate professionals and business owners. Depending on the panel who is investing in my business, I might just say business owners. I might change that to just corporate professionals. So depending on who you're talking to, it's very good to know your audience. So before you go into the room and pitch, understand who is going to be in front of you. So I always ask before Anna invited me and Catherine invited me, I was like, who is going to be here? Because I need to know how this relates to you, right? All the information. If I talk to you about pitching and it was completely different type of pitching, then it's not going to be relevant. So we need to know from the get-go, how many people are there? What is their intention? The audience is the most important part, because then you can create that atmosphere. You can then, as a speaker, be in control of how you want everybody to feel. So yes, the one-to-one coaching, group workshops, you might offer products instead of a service. You might offer both. So state what it is that you do and how you do that. And then the next part is your ask. This is important because a lot of people, they gloss over this. They're like, I want £5,000, give it to me, right? But we need to be able to explain succinctly what it is that we need it for, why, and how is it going to help us. To be honest, if you give me some money, I need to be able to know what it is I'm doing for it. And I think this is what happens, and this is something that you can pitching, this setup, this structure that I've given you, you can use it for grant applications as well. So they will always ask you, what do you need the money for? If you're going to have, apply for £1,000, £100, £5,000, whatever it is, you need to explain that I'm going to be using it to redesign my website, to gain more clients for my business. Then you can add numbers in. Why do you know? How do you know this? So for me, this example is, I would love to connect with corporate companies who have a learning and development department. So the learning and development department is the what? Because I believe I can upskill your employees. That's talking to the bigger organizations, the bigger companies. If they've got 1,000 companies in there, I believe I can make sure that they grow in the way, if I give them communication training, they will be able to upskill. They can then be promoted at work, and then everybody can be, I guess, happier at work as well, because their career is growing. And then the other option is, I'm currently seeking £5,000 investment, so I can invest it in my redesign for my business and gain more clients for my business as well. So if you're asking for money, really think about, and you can really expand on this why as well. It doesn't have to be one or two sentences. And this is where in a pitch, you can talk a little bit longer when you talk about your ask, depending on how much time you've got. But this is quite important because when you think about, especially the money aspect, if people are investing money in you, they need to know, well, is it going to work? Am I just going to be wasting my money? Am I throwing it away? They want to know that actually you can pay that money back. Okay, I'm going to give you 5,000. Not only are you going to make the 5,000, but you're going to give me back an extra 2,000 on top of that, right? Because there's always like when you hear Dragon's Den, I want £10,000 for 2% or 5% of my business, that kind of sentence, right? And this is what people are thinking about when they think of investments. People giving you money, they just give you money for free, is like an interest added on type of thing to be able to grow your business at a certain level. So yes, just 1 or 2 sentences about what you need and why they should pick you in that sense. Okay, and then the next part is the next steps, the call to action from others. So if you know anyone who might be able to help, let's connect and have a chat, right? It doesn't have to be anything dramatic. If you know anybody any organizations who are offering grants that are available, I would love to hear more about it, right? And this is something that you can say in your own words. So don't overthink it. It's something that you would naturally say when you connect with someone. What do you want that person to do, right? If it's just a connection on LinkedIn, you can just say, if you know anybody on LinkedIn who has this job title, feel free to connect with me and we can have a chat further down the line about this, right? So you want them to do something that will help you. I know that sounds very selfish, but when you're pitching, and you can do this, I guess, this next step, the call to action, you could do this in a networking event as well. But in a pitching event, in a scenario, it's always good because that's the purpose. That's the reason why you are there in the first place. You're asking for money, you're asking for help, you're asking for support. So tell them what you need. Tell them what you need in that moment. And every time you do a different pitch, you go and talk to a different panel, it's going to be different every single time because your need is going to be different. So it might be that, okay, you need the money for the website, but later down the line, when you do a different pitching, it might be you need money for marketing. It might be that you need a mentor, for support. How do you grow your business? So all of these different things will allow people to go, oh, okay, there was a person who needed a marketing person. Oh yes, okay, let me connect that person with that person. So even though you might not get the funding, right, they might not give you the money, they still might know who you are because of the other needs and the wants that you are asking for. So this is something to also consider in a 1-minute pitch. Now with this is where we think about the practicing, right? If anybody wants to volunteer, I'm happy to listen to your pitch, to listen to how you are structuring something, and then I can give you feedback. And the people who are listening, it's like a live one-on-one hot seat. So I will listen to you, you'll get the feedback, you'll then do it again. And then the other people in the room are able to think about, okay, what's working? Did I engage with that person who's speaking? What's happening when they're saying X, Y, and Z? What's the most important thing that I've taken away from their whole pitch, right? So this is your time, if you want to pick my brains, if you like, and practice what it is that you want to say. Anybody?
Can I read from the...
You can read. You don't have to memorize it. That's the thing. Like when a lot of people, they ask me, okay, shall I have my notes in front of me when I'm pitching, when I'm speaking? And the answer is, it's up to you. Why? Because it's what makes you feel the most comfortable, what makes you feel confident, right? As long as you're not reading and your head's down here and you're just reading from your phone or the notes all the time and you just see my head, right? If you are having it eye line, you're looking up, you're looking at people, it's okay. Like, we're human. We're not like machines that can remember everything. Yeah. So don't put that pressure on yourself. I think a lot of people, when they speak on stage, they're like, oh my gosh, there's loads of people, they're judging me, and now I've got this expectation, this pressure to perform well, to do well. But don't put that pressure on yourself. do whatever feels right for you. If you want to stand, stand. If there's a chair to sit, sit. But don't stand like this if you don't normally stand like this, you know? And don't speak words that you don't normally say, because we want authenticity. We want you to be genuine. We want to resonate with you. So say words that you say, sit how you sit, stand how you stand. If you need your notes, have your notes. But yes, floor is yours.
So it's just essentially whatever we were doing before, isn't it? Okay, so my name is Lena, and I am video and film director producer. I'm creating a film platform like Spotify or Netflix, which would enable independent filmmakers to share their films with film enthusiasts. It's called Open Frame, and there will be no gatekeeping. All films are welcome, no marketing budget.
What's your ask?
I'd like the Paris and checkpoint
That's right. Ask your own.
for my creation of the website.
Great, lovely. So what I want to do for you to do the second time round is to have that energy that you had when you were standing up, right? So we want to create a good impression. We need to have that energy. We need to feel it in our body. So I want you to think about your project, this open frame that you're doing. And I want you to think about it in the future as though it has launched, right? How do you feel when it's launched? Right, so just take that image in your mind and channel that energy into your body. And I want you to be able to give me that energy from that first word that you say, all the way through to the end of what you are saying. Because the energy is so important. Okay. Let's see if the energy's changed.
I did that the other time. It was like over the top, wasn't it? I actually fixed on the tip. So wanted to. Hi, my name is Lena, and I'm a video and film producer. And I have a platform that I'm looking to build, which is like Netflix and Spotify mashup for independent films that would enable filmmakers to upload their films. No marketing budget needed. It's open for everyone, and then for the film enthusiasts to view those films, because most of the times they're not available online under a password somewhere on a shelf on a drive.
Great, lovely. So I like the energy. We're going to keep that going, but we're going to add in some emotion in there. So not everything sounds the same. Because what we want is, when we have the energy, we want energy to go up and down, the rhythm to go up and down in your voice as well. So we want to pick out, because that's quite a long, I guess, 1 minute, you can pick out 2 or 3 different emotions, right? To split different ways. So when you're talking about Netflix and Spotify, make it sound enthusiastic, like, oh, these are big names out there, right? I want my open frame to be as big as this. So by thinking of enthusiasm, by thinking about, just pick 3 different ones that you think are relevant to you, and try and convey one section with one emotion, middle section with another emotion, and the end with a different emotion. Don't overthink it. It can just be a happy emotion.
To be fair, I think like authenticity is key. Now I'm putting up a performance, which is an acting performance, and I can do that, but it's not. Is it what we need though?
So that's the thing. We're not performing, right? We're channeling the energy to make it seem more engaging to the audience, which is different to, I'm now putting on a performance because now my voice has changed because I sound happy, right? Yeah. But if you truly feel happy, you can just hear it in the sound of my voice without having to really change your voice in any way. And you guys as the audience, we're going to see whether you can hear that switch in voice, in the tones of voice, right? So we had happy to begin with, then we had passionate, right?
Yeah.
And then the ending one is confident.
Right.
Yeah.
My name is Lena, and I'm a video and film director producer. I'm creating a platform like Netflix and Spotify, and it will enable independent filmmakers to put their films out there for people to view. It's called Open Frame, and there will be no gatekeeping, no marketing budget. Anyone can upload their film, and anyone can watch.
Good. How did that sound to you guys? Right? Yeah, very nice, very nice. Please. So yeah, this is like what we call the whole package, right? People listen to it, even if they don't see you, it sounds engaging. So you got to put in the tones, you got to add in that emotion as well as the structure. Then that will make people go, oh my gosh, yeah, that's great. Sounds amazing idea. I love it. Or they go, oh, let me help you with this X, Y, and Z. I want to collaborate with you, etc., etc. No, that was really great. Well done. Thank you for volunteering. Have we got time for anybody else? 5 minutes for one more.
Hello, my name is 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 and I'm a film and TV editor by trade. So there was something that I stumbled upon as a statistic recently, which was quite startling. It was about 68% of women feel quite disconnected from their mothers and grandmothers. I made it up.
No one knows.
That really spoke to me because I grew up without my grandmothers. I didn't know them very well, and my relationship with my mother is strained at best of times, I'd say. So which led me to think about how much I'm actually missing out on in terms of the female wisdom, the guidance that I perhaps didn't have, and being a parent also made me reflect on these things. So I came up with the idea of using my skills to sorry, there you go. So my solution is as a platform for women to connect with their female lineage, which is mothers and grandmothers. And the way we do it will be through collaborative filmmaking, creation of short documentary films, where I'll be a guiding presence. I have experience in film and TV. I edit, that's for a living. And I feel like there will be value. So I would probably call it the cross between art project and a therapy session. So for ladies to really tap into their female lineage, to get to know the female ancestors and see how that informs them, and maybe help them to reconnect and to see their mothers and grandmothers in maybe different light, or just deepen that connection. And as a realization of that idea would be short film that they can pass on to their daughters, granddaughters, and so forth. So that's the idea. I'm approaching individuals, charities. What I need is to build the website, run the outreach campaign, and for that I think around £4,500. As well as any connections that I can be introduced to, that would be massively appreciated. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I love the story about you not having grandmothers. Like, that's the biggest takeaway, is that story. So to make it, if you want to make it as personal as possible, go and do that, put a story in there. What I would love from you is to be able, because I love the tone of voice that you have, the quality to your voice when you talk about this story, but it gets stuck in this same range, right? So at the moment I'm like, okay, it's kind of sad, you know, that you haven't really had the opportunity to connect with your grandmothers or grandparents, right? But when you talk about the project that you want to start, it's still a sad project. And I'm like, we want to be able to switch it up. So whenever you are storytelling, pitching, always end positive, right? Because there's nothing worse when you go into a meeting and you have a manager talking at you, we need to do this and do that and do that, right? And you walk out and you feel so bad. Like, I'm doing so much work and you're still criticizing me for not doing enough, right? We always want to end on a positive note. So when you're talking about your ask, when you're talking about the values that you were saying, we want that to be nice and heartwarming. We want more happiness to the tones of voice. And the same at the beginning as well, when you introduce yourself. You know who you are. Make it, you know, with your personality in there. right? Have some sort of love, some desire, passion in there, caring tones to your voice, which I know I can bring out of you, right? So to be able to go from positive, go into the story that's negative, and then come back into a more positive light, that'd be really good.
So my name is 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 and I'm a film and TV editor. This is what I do for a living. So having thought about my relationship with my maternal lineage, I wanted to use my skills to be useful for other women as well and to help them reconnect with their female ancestors. So the way we do this is going to be a collaborative practice of filmmaking.
Make it sound exciting.
Creating a short documentary films around 15-minute long, which we would work together to unearth the stories and give the meaning to the life story of their female ancestors and see how that can help them in their own life. So at the end of the process, they will walk out with the short film that can be a keepsake to be passed down to their future generations. So I welcome any questions.
Great. No, lovely. Great. Well done. Good job. Good job. No, that's really nice because we've got a contrast, right? We've got a contrast of the sadness, and then we've got a contrast of the excitement that you're going to bring. Because one word that popped out, you said keepsake, and I was like, oh, that's really nice, you know, because that sums up the whole project that you're trying to convey. And that's what me as the audience, if I feel that, if I hear that, and I'm like, oh, that's such a good, valuable thing, and for you to be able to do with your community or the women that you're going to be helping, right? So yes, we always want to think about this emotion wheel. We always want to think about how we can take the audience on this emotional roller coaster, but ending it on a positive. So that is the 2-hour workshop today. Thank you so much, guys, for coming. Thank you.